Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. First of all, I appreciate you guys coming to the press conference. Here at the Sheriff's Office in the past several days, we basically have had two different incidents that have occurred within our county jail here. That's this being the reason for the press conference. I'm going to read my press release that I have here. I also got one that I'll provide each of you. It's basically, I got two different press releases that I'm going to read, and then we'll open it up to some questions from you folks, okay? The first one is, it's a suicide attempt. On Tuesday, May 15th, 2018 at approximately 11:45 p.m., correction officers found a 50-year-old male inmate hanging in his cell utilizing a bed sheet. Subject was immediately released from the sheet and was unresponsive to officers. Correction staff immediately began CPR and was able to get a pulse back from the subject. EMS and deputies arrived at the jail and assisted in medical treatment. Subject is currently in an area hospital but in serious condition. This subject has been housed at the Marion County Jail since February of 2018 on domestic assault charges. Subject was housed in a two-man cell in the holding area or booking area of the Marion County Jail. Subject was last seen by our correction staff at approximately 11 o'clock p.m., which is lockdown time for the inmates. So he was checked on by the correction staff right at 11 o'clock. That's when we lock the inmates down for bedtime. At this time, no foul play is suspected. This case is being investigated by my office, the Sheriff's Office, and also assisted by the Missouri State Highway Patrol Division of Drug and Crime Control. So with that, and again, this happened on Tuesday, May the 15th. And if anybody wants a sheet of this here, that's fine.
The previous release was released that day as well.
Correct. So that is. Is there any questions concerning that incident that you'd like to ask?
Is he still hospitalized then?
Yes, he is. Yes, I'm not releasing his name at this time either because he is still hospitalized. Yes, sir. Okay, with that, no other questions on that one, we'll go on to the next one. This next incident happened on yesterday evening, Thursday, May 17th, at approximately 8:46 p.m. involving the suicide of inmate Timothy Brooks. Marion County Sheriff's staff discovered inmate Timothy Brooks, 430 of 81, 37 years of age, in his cell. It was apparent that Brooks committed suicide utilizing a bed sheet. Correction staff immediately released Brooks from the sheet and began CPR, and EMS was notified and arrived. Correction staff continued CPR until EMS arrived on the scene and the jail and took over medical attention. Also assisting was the deputies of the Marion County Sheriff's Office, Palmar Police Department, and Palmar Fire Department. Inmate Brooks was housed in a single male cell located in the holding or booking area of the jail. He has been in this cell since about February of this year. He was moved out of general population, and moved up into the holding cell area. Brooks was last seen by the staff at about 7:49 p.m. A suicide note was discovered inside of Brooks' cell. Brooks, who was being housed at the jail for 3 separate charges: murder first degree, assault first degree, and assault of a law enforcement officer. All these charges stem from a 2016 case which originated in Hannibal and on into Marion County and ended with his arrest in Monroe City, Missouri. Brooks attended a court hearing on the afternoon of May 17th in Monroe County in Paris, Missouri, in front of Judge Rachel Bringer Shepard. He was then transported back to the Marion County Sheriff's Office late afternoon. I have requested the Missouri State Highway Patrol, the Division of Drug and Crime Control, to be the lead investigation of this case of the suicide here at the jail, with our involvement with the Brooks case from 2016 as being one of the arresting agencies involved in that case. So that's the reason I called in the Highway Patrol to investigate this suicide. So with that,
is there anything you can tell us about the suicide note? What was included on that?
It was short and to the point, but nothing more that I can relate to you at this time. No.
And what's the difference between a general cell and a holding cell?
The holding cell is more or less like an isolation cell. They are not in with general population. My general population inmates, which I have about approximately 100 of them in the back of the jail, can associate with one another within their pods. And The holding cells, they're up there for, they can be up there for multiple different reasons. One of them being discipline reasons, whether or not they can't get along with other inmates in the back or have been in a fight or things of that nature. That's the reason they get moved to housing. Could also be some type of medical issues that we move them to housing, or up to holding in the housing unit.
What is the general protocol for checking on inmates, you know, like you said, like that was swallowed?
Yeah, our protocol is, all these cells have cameras on them. And that's one fortunate thing that we do have that we've gotten here at the Sheriff's Office in the past several years. We check on the inmates on an hourly basis. Of course, the jail is pretty large scale. We have multiple staff members on this particular evening. I believe we had 4 or 5 correction staff members on. They were checked on a timely basis according to our protocol and our policy and procedure. Everything was followed accordingly. It's just one of the most unfortunate events, and it's just happened this past week with 2 of them.
And with 2 of them happening, is there a chance that you guys kind of look back at that protocol, maybe make changes to it or anything like that?
Absolutely. We'll get together with my staff. My jail administrator and chief deputy are currently at jail training right now as we speak down in the Ozarks. We definitely plan on bringing the team together next week, looking at our protocol, looking at our policy and procedure. We do have a full-time nurse on duty here. Also have a doctor that comes here to see our inmates. We work on a daily basis with Preferred Family Healthcare and also Mark Twain area behavior to help deal with some of our inmates that have mental health issues or have some type of crisis going on in their life to try to get them through this stage.
Was Mr. Brokus by chance on suicide watch?
No.
Was there any indication that he was distraught or upset following his court hearing Thursday?
No.
Was there any possibility that both of these men were able to communicate with one another?
Yes, that's correct. They're both in the holding area together. Yes, that is correct.
Sorry, not to cut you off. Go ahead.
You're okay. Has there been any communication with the gentleman that's been hospitalized to see if they have communicated together to, you know, is this related?
He's unresponsive.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments at this time? Shut her down.
The people involved on the checks and the protocol and stuff, are they still on the job today and still?
They are. We are going to set up some services for them with some professionals. It's taken a toll on my staff, there's no doubt about it. They're very distraught about it, along with the family members of these individuals that are incarcerated at the jail. My hearts are very heavy for those folks as well. But my heart is also heavy for my correction staff and deputies who've been through this trauma too, because it is a trauma for us too to have to deal with something like this.
Do you recall the most recent suicide in the jail prior to this?
Successful?
Yes,
if you
yes, sir.
call it successful.
Yes, sir.
Is 2014. And we have suicide attempts here at the jail. I wouldn't want to say on a regular basis, but it's not uncommon for us to have suicide attempts here at the county jail. And my staff does an excellent job of preventing and stopping a lot of suicides that may happen here at the jail through their intervention. We do have intervention training with our correction officers, and they do a good job, I believe. But just these 2 incidents, and again, we checked on these individuals on a regular basis. Just a little time lapse between the 2 when we caught them. So,
Do you have a general idea of how long Brokus had been deceased before you found him?
we don't at this time. An autopsy is scheduled for Monday at 10 o'clock. We know that it was less than 45 minutes. We just know that from being able to see him and checking on him.
Was there any type of commotion or you seen something over the camera that led you to that cell just a little bit earlier than hourly?
No. Again, the way our jail is set up and so forth, and in the evening shift, you know, we got detention officers that roam the building, if you will, and that's basically what they were doing. They got cleaning duties and things of that nature also, and they were up there doing some cleaning, and that's when they noticed.
Where will the autopsy be done?
In Columbia, I believe.
You mentioned that Mr. Brooks was moved over to kind of the holding cells in February. Any specific reason? I know you mentioned a couple of reasons why someone would go over there.
Disciplinary problems, yes, with the general population. Okay, one more?
Was Brooks pronounced deceased here at the jail, or was he taken to the hospital? And
He was pronounced here, deceased here at the jail by the county coroner. Okay, thank you, folks. Appreciate it.